Links to join channel here over at Subscribestar. So criticism of some stupid show has got to be rooted in istaphobicism, because if you give these people a shield, they will just use that shield every opportunity instead of actually engaging. So some soyboy globalist who looks exactly as you'd expect says that criticism of this propaganda is istaphobic and should be censored because, of course, it should. No diversity of thought allowed. The left wing hates that people have free speech, even if it's just to criticize some silly little show like this, because the show is their narrative. It's why the Phantom Menace and Comicsgate drove them insane. The reaction to one guy reviewing comics in his car with a relatively small channel, that should have told you who you're dealing with. These people cannot have any challenge to the narrative, even if it's just somebody with like 50,000 people on a channel. Anyway, the division, if you remember Star Wars when it came out in 2015, the division over that was freaking nuts. They like the younger and the left wing crowd was defending those crappy movies so hardcore, but nobody was actually buying the merchandise because they don't usually like the actual movies, games, or comics. They just say that they support the globalist message. And if you're rejecting it, you're rejecting globalism and you're spreading that message to other people, and they get outraged when you do that. And censorship now is a left-wing value. Opposing ideas must be censored because their ideas suck so bad that they have to censor anything that opposes them. Because people with good ideas don't fear the open marketplace. They want their ideas out there. Left is a little bit different with this kind of stuff. Okay, so when I say diversity, feminism, and all that is cancer, let me say it's more that left-wing people can't write diverse stories that actually people enjoy. Someone like me could, but because I'm going to be more balanced. The left wing just can't do that. And well, feminism is always cancer, to be fair. But I also recognize that stories don't need to be diverse. The story should be organic, and SJWs can't do that. It's everything to them has to be for the movement, for the Marxists keep people off center. And it's a soft bigotry that lowered expectations, and it's this doom spiral that has taken over comics, movies, and games, and even, blue cities, where SJWs control all these things. And, even the financing is done by very far left-wing BlackRock type of stuff, and those sorts of globalist companies. So even if somebody wanted to turn things around, they couldn't do it. They're locked into this destructive path where they have to hope that the younger audience gets on board with it. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. Or maybe they'll just companies will go bankrupt left and right. So one reason is social media. By this, I mean, say you take a vampire game, comic, movie, and it's all European people. The Mary Sue type of magazines would just never let that exist without finding every little reason to come down on it and just keep it in the news. And the Rotten Tomatoes types of reviewers would give it low scores because, you saw the score above. They give propaganda high scores, and then the audience score tells you what's up, because they're scoring according to cultural bullshit rating systems. The audience score is telling you mostly what the audience feels. But that's the way it usually is, where there's if it's something that's going to be viewed as left-wing propaganda, then the reviewing site itself is going to give it high scores. And then the audience would be like, this is so friggin' lame. So, of course, the audience is istaphobic, which, they're the majority. So the people who run Kotaku, CBR, Variety, Mary Sue, they're not representative of the mainstream at all, because these left-wingers have institutional support, and it's not obvious to people who aren't following this stuff. Yes, you must have mixing. You must have tribal mixing in every single thing. The thing is, it's subtle, but it all adds up to a hostile business environment if you're a right-of-center publication like Bounding or Bleeding Fool or something, because the left-wing companies get subsidized by left-wing institutional investors. And the other side of the equation is they don't get attacked online because the online environment is so biased to the far left. So anything right of center that comes out gets attacked by all these other digital magazines, and that's a signal to the ADL, SPLC, ACLU that they need to go on the attack. And then there's the advertisers, and they get pressured, and then they just you can't go forward ahead with something if you don't have advertisers. So that's how they gang up on these things. It's why you see the current cultural environment the way it is. So most things in the mainstream are left wing, but the audience for what they're selling is not the far left wing. So you end up with like something like The Little Mermaid that takes months just to break even, when that should have been a hit right off the bat, or all the other woke movies that lose millions because that's not what the audience wants. They're very clearly telling you that what was it, Eternals or something? Yeah, that's. I mean, if you, I was gonna say if they asked honest questions of the audience, they would, like really honest questions. They would tell you what they want, but they're not asking those questions because they probably know. Anyway, so a lot of this pop culture is in this kind of weird funk where everything is just not finding an audience. It's like, oh hey, tell us all about slavery and BLT characters and like all this. Like, who cares about that? That is a very limited Venn diagram of people who are concerned about that and also will pay to watch your movie. So a lot of this stuff is just openly propaganda, and the audience is slowly leaving. So where I mean by that is like the movie still made money. The movie makes a successful movie. They go, yeah, it made $50 million, $100 million, net. Yeah, but if you had done it a couple years ago and it wasn't this woke cancer, it would have been like $200, $300, $400 million net. So they're getting by on much smaller and smaller wins, and at the same time they're still having some pretty respectable losses when a movie loses $50 million, $150 million. So all the big businesses and money are far left because of that political pressure, but the market isn't. It's why you've seen alternatives start to pop up. Comicsgate, Gab TV, Phantom Menace, Telegram, Odyssey, BitChute. The mainstream keeps race swapping everything and focusing on race, except that the audience just doesn't care. For one reason, it's just not a balanced presentation. They're not showing everybody's issues from all sides of the thing. But even if it was fair, how many shows do you want to see that just focus totally on race? Most people don't care. That's, any more than that, it's like it's just kind of a turnoff. Why would we want to see this in comics, movies, and games? It's just constant conflict. It looks like propaganda. Yeah, it's because it is propaganda. It's somebody just grinding some kind of whatever is currently in vogue. All you have to do is just tell an organic story. If you can't tell a diverse story without all this racial grievances that nobody cares about, very limited audience cares about, and turning people into Mary Sue purse puppies, then just don't make them diverse. How dare you? How dare you? Just make different shows for different people. Like you're gonna find more of an audience that way. Or if you have to make a diverse show, gross, just don't turn the non-white characters into Mary Sue purse puppies where they can do no wrong. And in case you're not paying attention, that's every single show out there. Most people don't care about this because most people just want to share. God, I hope these comments aren't too freaking evil. Most people just want to get along, and most of us don't have issues with other races if they don't have issues with us. But it's not the focus of our whole existence, and it seems like the past few years, it has been the focus of the whole country's existence. It's good to see that some people are awakening to this kind of stuff. But like, yeah, this is... At least in pop culture, it's not selling. But the thing is, the puppet masters need it front and center so they can keep people distracted by the conflict. It's that Marxist theory, Saul Alinsky, Frankfurt School stuff about keeping people constantly off their feet so they never feel stable and can focus on actual real issues. Yeah, Shaka Zulu with Ezra Miller. Nobody ever stops and looks at like more primary important issues that, like, if you see something in the news, you go, oh, what's that distracting us from? Hunter Biden's, I don't know what he was in the news for like a year ago. It's like, that feels like that's a distraction. Yeah, there's maybe like stop giving money to foreign countries while they're like literally homeless tent cities, or a Federal Reserve that prints money backed by thin air. I mean, something like that. Do they, it seems like they want a civil war. I think they just want to destroy the West, and I don't think they want a civil war. I just don't think they think it's likely. Anyway, what has changed things recently is social media has been around for a long time, but the movies and shows and comics and books and all this kind of stuff have really gone mask off full insane left-wing agenda. So people are able to give feedback in a way that the mainstream people pushing this propaganda are not very happy about. Where we now have a dialogue and not a monologue. So, who knows what's going to happen in the future when they're putting this stuff out on social media, and so many of the comments are, this looks absolutely horrible. But the thing is, it is important to get out there, make videos and crap all over these people, because They don't want you to do that. They want, like, yikes, my God, just let people enjoy things. No, 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 no. Like, you just don't have to buy it. You just don't have to say anything. No, because that's kind of how we got here. If they're able to put this stuff out into the public sphere, then you got to get on there and explain why it's bullshit propaganda. Really draw other people's attention to it. They're putting it out there. It's not organic comic, movie, video game, book, whatever. It's propaganda. You can criticize propaganda. This is not some. These are billion-dollar companies, and it's funny to watch these left-wing people jump in front of these billion. No, no, no. I've got to defend Amazon Rings of Power. I've got to defend Disney. It's like, Disney's a $150 billion Epstein Island company. You're really going to go to bat defending them? Yeah, because Disney's pushing the narrative that these left-wing kids are all on board. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next episode.